You're watching Masters in Trading Live with Jonathan Rose.
Hey everybody, welcome to Masters in Trading Live. My name is Jonathan Rose. I get on here every day the market's open, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, share some tidbits about the market, and once in a while, we'll even share our trade of the day. Like today. Today, I got a trade of the day for you. 4 topics. First topic, talk about Tesla. Second topic, we haven't talked about this. We're going to talk about SpaceX, Elon Musk's private satellite company. Then we're going to talk about oil. Talk about oil, our line in the sand. And then finally, as we've been talking about all week, this Friday is Jackson Hole. It is a big market moving event. So we're going to talk about potential ways to play Jackson Hole. Let's go over to the screens and let's check it out, see what we got. All right, guys, I'm excited about this today. Let me get ready here. Let me get situated a little bit. All right, Tesla, SpaceX, oil line in the sand, and Jackson Hole. Let's get to it. We're going to talk about Tesla first. Tesla owners are now driving an average 14.7 million miles on FSD per day, 250% increase from 3 months ago. So automated driving continues to gain foothold in the world. Now, we're not seeing it in everyday life, right? But it's still growing, it's still improving. If we look at the numbers and how many miles have been traveled, this has been Tesla's ultimate goal, to get automated driving on the road. Now, it's had some hiccups, but then they had a huge improvement in this FSD V12 miles, and it's really starting to grow. Now, this has been talked about for a long time. I think Elon Musk started talking about automated cars and robotaxis going back to like 2018 conference calls. And for those who've had the privilege to read that Walter Isaacson book on Elon Musk, which I recommend to each one of you, it is a wonderful read about thinking out of the box and not letting a glass ceiling get in the way of your expansion and your improvement. A glass ceiling is feeling like you're looking up and you can't improve. Well, you can. And it's just a really beautiful, motivating book. Back on the topic though. In the book, what you start to realize is how all of his companies are really tied together. They're all kind of synergistic with one another. So what's really interesting to me about automated driving is Robotaxi. The Robotaxi event is going to be October 10th. The original Robotaxi event was scheduled for the beginning of August. They pushed it back. I think October 10th is going to be a really big event for Tesla. Let's talk about satellite communications, because we're still going to be talking about Tesla, but we're going to bring SpaceX into this conversation. Again, for those who have read Elon Musk's book, you'll realize that everything he's doing is ultimately meant to be synergistic, where automated driving should help out SpaceX. It's all tied together. So what we've noticed this last couple of weeks, the satellite communication industry is absolutely going bonkers in the stock market. The name or the company that's performed the best, I think, in 2024 is going to be this ASTS satellite company. Now, the satellite communication companies that are public are in front of you. IRDM, GoGo, SATS, GSAT, ASTS. Look at the market caps. 3 billion, 1 billion, 5 billion, 2.5 billion, 5.5 billion. ASTS, here's the chart. ASTS was trading $2 in mid-April and is now trading 36. Now, I don't think it's going to sit at 36. It's probably going to end up about 22, 24, 26 when all said and done. But the fact is that this sector is growing so unbelievably fast. And the more I think about why is this industry going so fast, it brings me to SpaceX. Because SpaceX will eventually IPO. When SpaceX IPO, they will be absolutely dominating this industry. They'll come out, I'm sure, with over $100 billion market cap. And whether that happens in 2025 or 2026, I think it's just all going to support just Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX. So what we can therefore do, and again, just showing this here, what I want to do, and I'm going to move on to oil, but I have an idea for a Tesla trade. I'm going to share Tesla trade at the end because I got some important things to share, and I don't want you guys to go anywhere. And I know some of you, if I share a trade, are going to run off and get that trade done. So no, hang out with me, guys. I got important things to say. I'll share the Tesla trade at the end because we got to talk about oil. Oil has been stuck in a range trade for a while. We talk about the line in the sand. We usually share the line in the sand when it comes to the equity markets. Lately, we've been doing it in the QQQs. 2 weeks ago, we had a sensational trade in the QQQs using our line in the sand. If we look at oil, and this is the price of West Texas oil, WTI /CL is the ticker. If you wanted to look at the price of Brent oil, it would be BZ. So this is US oil. Brent would be more of like a European oil. But what I want you to see is notice how the range has tightened. Okay? Technicians out there, you might notice that we're seeing like a descending triangle a little bit. Well, we're going to have a major line in the sand. And this week is a really, really influential week in the markets because there's a major catalyst. So if we look at the line in the sand, it's going to be right here. It's these weekly lows. Okay, we're looking at weekly. We always want overlapping weekly and overlapping lows. So let's use 71 to 73 as a major line in the sand. Above bullish, below bearish. Now it's really interesting that you have the 100 and 200 period moving averages right here. So the range that we would expect is 78 resistance and 71, 73 really strong line in the sand. So if we trade above there, the next place would be 78. If we get above 78 and we go bid above 78, we are going to attack 100. That's my feelings about oil. Line in the sand, and I wouldn't be surprised if Friday we get to shake out that line in the sand and see which way oil is going to move. We got our guy speaking this Friday, Jackson Hole. Here's something that's really interesting. Monday and Tuesday, I think I said I wouldn't sell volatility with your enemy's trading account. The trade would be that bad. Well, luckily we said that because volatility has been rising. But here's what I want to show you, and this is, we look at this from time to time. This is the VIX curve. The VIX is a 30-day measure of volatility. 30-day measure of volatility is 1676. A 9-day measure of volatility is 1673. A 23-day measure of volatility is 1676. A 37-day is 1666. This is the power of Jackson Hole, okay? The normal volatility curve would look like this. It would be low in the front end and go further and further out because the longer you go, the more uncertainty that you end up having. So it's really interesting to note, and this is actually very bearish that the front end is staying up as much as these 37 days. So this is what you want to watch, guys. Watch this 9-day. As the VIX 9-day trades higher, we are bearish. We are looking for places potentially to buy puts for the market to go down. QQQ, if we're going to do a short-term trade, you'd want to do a trade that expires. If you're going to do a Jackson Hole trade, you want to use the shortest amount of time, right? If you're doing this about Jackson Hole, then you want to be in these options. These options are high risk, high reward. It's a binary play. Last trade 481. 487 is going to be resistance. This is expected move. This is a weekly expected move. So 487 on the high side. 475 would be our line in the sand. For folks who do want to play this, I kind of like these 476s, buying puts. But again, if you buy these for $184, your outcome is either going to be losing 100% or making quite a bit of money. 2 times, 3 times, 4 times your money. There's only 2 outcomes though. Either we lose 100% or we make a whole bunch of money. Kind of cool trade. So consider the 476s for $1.85 if that trade interests you. I did say I'd go back to Tesla, didn't I? So let's go back to Tesla. What I like about Tesla is the October 10th event. Okay, robo-taxis, automated vehicles have been talked about since 2018. Okay, this Musk fella has promised so many times about automated driving, about robo-taxis. October 10th, guys, I really think this is the time. I also, in a weird way, think that ASTS move is tied in to SpaceX, which is also tied in to this October 10th event. How did I possibly come to that conclusion? I came to that conclusion because ASTS just went from $2 to $38 in about a month and a half. There's got to be more reason why a stock is making such a brutal move, and it's the entire industry being revalued. The trade that I like in Tesla is a covered call. A covered call, we're buying stock, buy stock at the market, say 221. And then what we're also going to do is we want to sell this. Let's do the 270 strike. We want to sell the 270 strike. So if you buy 100 shares and sell one of the 270 calls for $6. That is the trade. It is a covered call, getting long Tesla stock while also selling some upside calls. Now, you may be thinking, well, Jonathan, that's kind of a reach, right? What does ASTS have to do with Tesla? But it's not. It's everything coming together. And the more I think about it, and the more I go back to those companies all being tied together and ASTS making such a significant move, when there's one company that absolutely dominates the satellite communication industry. 70% of all low-flying satellites are owned by SpaceX. So can you imagine what valuation SpaceX has now after this ASTS move? That's the catalyst for the October 10th Tesla event. This is thinking out of the box. Big believer that the creative trader wins. Everybody that's in our All Access program, you guys don't go anywhere. I got another trade for you.